It might be winter outside, but in our studios it's autumn. Autumn statement time.
Live coverage of the speech and response.
This is a moment of TV history. Normally when the Chancellor delivers these statements, he has to say the economy is actually a lot worse than everyone predicted. This time, he can stand up and say the economy is better than everyone had predicted. A lot better.
Britain is currently growing faster than any other major advanced economy. Faster than France, which is contracting, faster than Germany, faster even than America. At this autumn statement last year, there were repeated predictions that borrowing would go up. Instead, borrowing is down, and down significantly more than forecast.
But George Osborne said those good numbers still mean more tough decisions.
We will not let up in dealing with our country's debts. We will not spend the money from lower borrowing. We will not squander the hard-earned gains of the British people.
In other words, further cuts to many government departments of about $1 billion a year for 3 years. The state pension age will increase in the 2040s, affecting people who are in their 40s now. But there were some goodies, like discounted business rates for small businesses, free school meals for infants, favoured by the Lib Dems, and those marriage tax breaks, beloved by the Tories. But as with all these big fiscal events, it takes a while for all the details to sink in.
The marriage tax allowance is a long-standing political commitment which he couldn't abandon, and it does actually help those families where only one goes out to work, and it doesn't go to higher rate taxpayers, I don't think. Perhaps it does, I can't remember.
It makes me feel rather guilty. As the member for the City of London, I take these matters very seriously, but I was in the Intelligence and Security Committee. We had
do you want me to give you
important evidence session today?
Okay, well, shall I give you? There is the autumn statement. You can have that. Have that as a free gift from the Sunday Politics.
My goodness, is there no limit to the generosity of the BBC here?
The Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls said that living standards have been falling.
In the meantime, Twitter was awash with unflattering pictures of a red-faced Ed Balls giving his response. Some pictures more unflattering than others. Is Ed Balls okay? Should we be worried about him? He looked very stressed.
There's nothing to worry about in terms of Ed Balls and his analysis of what's going on in the economy. He and Ed Miliband have been setting the pace in terms of the focus on the living standards crisis. In fact, it was very telling that in the last autumn statement and the previous budget, not a mention of living standards. We got 12 mentions out of George Osborne's mouth this time.
Never mind what he was saying, by now everyone's got a copy of the all-important paperwork.
Great.
OK, thank you. Time to hand over to number cruncher extraordinaire Paul Johnson from the Institute for Fiscal Studies.
Well, of course, it means that things are significantly better this year and next than we thought they would be just 9 months ago, and that's got to be good news. But it's also worth looking at the growth figures a few years out. They've been revised down a little bit. And the reason is that the view of the Office of Budget Responsibility is that the long-run steady state of the economy, the place where we're headed, hasn't actually changed, or hasn't changed very much. So we're getting a bit more growth now, but their view is that that's at the cost of a little bit of the growth that we'll expect in the years after the next election.
As the day draws to a close, the one place there's definitely been no growth is the graphics budget of my colleague Robert Peston.
It's craft, isn't it? It's as good as it gets these days, but I don't think the viewers will notice much of a difference.
I'd say it's actually quite Sunday Politics in style, I'd say.
That's very worrying.